Hey, good to see you again. The factory sent over the parts that are looking good on the rig. They're being fitted as we speak. Have a look at the report.
What is up, guys, and welcome to the Chinese Grand Prix Season 4 of F1 2016 Career Mode. We have some upgrades on the way in the form of downforce. That's hopefully going to make the car less understeery, and we can maybe go for low aero kind of setups more often. But driver standings, we currently sit in P5. Still a lot of work to do to catch up to the leaders of Sebastian Vettel, Daniel Ricciardo, and of course my teammate Lewis Hamilton, who we are charging to get the constructors in the championship. This is Friday practice now in the Chinese Grand Prix. As you can see, intermediate conditions, but it doesn't really phase us in absolutely smashing the track acclimatization test. I feel like recently there's been some kind of patch which has made things easier in achieving a perfect score, but I'm not too sure. You'll have to let me know on that. But we move on to practice 2 now, and things are a lot drier. This is set to be quite a wet weekend, to be honest. I think qualifying might be cloudy, and the race, that's also set to be quite tricky as well, but we'll get to that later on in the video. On a qualifying lap here in practice 2 on the super soft tyres, bit of traction loss through the final hairpin. On the run up to the line we go P4, and an improvement by 0.6. So the pace is there early on, despite not playing F1 2016 in over a week, going to the Australian Grand Prix. Heading into qualifying, I think I might increase the aero, because we seem to be losing a little bit in the middle sector. It's time for quali.
We'd like to welcome you from wherever in the world you join us today for this F1 qualifying session here in Shanghai, China.
Okay, you should be able to get into the next qualifying session easily, so try to get a hot lap in early so we can save the tyres.
I love how, like, every time the engineer tells me to get a hot lap in early, I always leave it to the last minute. It's like doing a uni or a school assignment. You just want to leave it to the end, because that's when the track is the fastest. But either way, we're on track now for qualifying for the Chinese Grand Prix. Now, I don't know if you saw while the engineer was talking, we are set for some rain, so I thought it would be a good idea to get the slower tyres out of the way now, and just go all-out attack on the super soft tyres to attack for hopefully a spot on the podium, or maybe even pole position for this Chinese Grand Prix. But coming to the end of our first run in qualifying 1, it's fairly decent. It's a 34.2, and it puts us inside the top 10 on the harder compound. You can see Daniel Ricciardo also going for a similar strategy, so too with Sebastian Vettel, so looks like it was probably the way to go in qualifying 1, given that you know, dry tyre strategy is not going to be important heading into this race. Qualifying 2 now, and we have 2 brand new sets of the super soft tyres to use in this session, but again, I kind of have confidence in the car in this round, so I feel like I can make it through fairly easily. As long as I get in a semi-decent lap, I can make it through on 1 lap. That should be fine. Checkered flag is out once again, leaving it right to the end of the session for the optimal track conditions, so that we can just easily squeeze through with minimal tyre wear through to the final sector of the lap. You can make up a lot of time here by braking as late as possible, then getting on the power as soon as you can get that car straightened up. Final corner, 4th gear, hit the apex, and then leave a nice straight exit on the run up to the line. It's the shortest way around the track, and we actually go purple in the 3rd sector. It puts us 3rd place provisionally heading into the final part of qualifying. Now that is what I want to see heading into a very important section of the weekend. Now, only a few tenths away from Sebastian Vettel, so if we can find, you know, maybe another 10th or 2 just in raw driving performance, we might get there, but we'll have to wait and see. That lap that I did in Q2 was very, very good. I feel like I'd be very lucky to find another 10th or 2 versus the AI of Vettel and Ricciardo. So we'll have to wait and see. Heading into qualifying 3 now. This is our final run in the session. Did a bank a lap of position 5, but Hamilton has banged in an absolute screamer. Position 1 at the moment. His qualifying performances so far have been amazing in this season. Race pace not so good, but we'll diverse over that. Through to the middle sector now. We're 2.5 tenths up, bordering on 3 tenths as we head through the middle sector. This is the part of the track where we tend to lose a little bit of time, so that's why I went for higher aero heading into qualifying. Through to the 3rd sector, and this is where we make up most of our time, so I'm hoping to make up even more. 2nd gear through here, getting on the power as early as you can. try and catch the slide before it even amalgamates into anything. Don't know if that's a word or if that is used properly. Through to the chicane, lock up, missed the apex by a little bit there, and on the power quite late with a bit of oversteer. Somehow, we actually haven't lost that much time. Through to the final corner, and this has been a very scruffy lap. Scruffy commentary too, and it puts us P2. It puts us P2. That was a very scruffy lap. I mean, I was overdriving the car like crazy. I lost the back end quite badly on the exit of the snail section in the first sector. A bit of oversteer on the lead up to the back straight, and then missed the braking zone for the final hairpin by a mile. But we're only a tenth away from Hamilton, and very, very quick. This race is going to be very tasty. So we have a Mercedes 1-2 for the Chinese Grand Prix. It is Mercedes OP reigning once again. I mean, you can't even tell that we're 4 seasons into a career mode now. It's almost like it's season 1 all over again, stock 2016 cars. You wouldn't even tell that Mercedes is the 3rd quickest car, but let's get an update on the weather.
Rain will stay with us for at least 20 minutes, maybe more. Light rain is here to stay.
Okay, so looks like it might be raining for the majority of this Chinese Grand Prix. If it does ease up, it's going to be probably right towards the end of the race. So I want to be stopping for a set of intermediate tyres as late as I possibly can to minimize a second stop on the inters. But here we go, ready for the 3rd round of Season 4 of F1 2016 Career Mode. It's Mercedes v Mercedes in this Chinese Grand Prix. 5 red lights, and away we go. Hamilton. Oh man, you prick. He's got an absolutely amazing start. I just can't even challenge him heading into turn 1. We might have to wait until we get through the middle of this Snell section. Maybe dive it up the inside. The AI are known to be very slow through this part of the track. He leaves the door open for his teammate, and now we're going to try and hang it around the outside to take the lead of this race before really it's even begun. Round the outside, having to catch oversteer right as we get around the outside of Hamilton, and we've taken the lead. I will take that. That was way too close for comfort between the teammates. You can see me hanging it right around the outside. A bit of oversteer as I try to get on the power as early as humanly possible. And it's paid off for us here at the start of this race. Hamilton follows through in 2nd. Ricardo, when the watching brief, in 3rd place with Sebastian Vettel, I believe, in P4. Just chilling there. And we get lots of oversteer. Not much grip at the moment. Having to acclimatise to the conditions of understeered wide. Completely missed the turn in for the final corner, and here goes Lewis once again round the outside. He's going to have the inside for turn 1, and he has taken the lead back. We're going to have to brave it around the outside through turn 1. This isn't really the place you want to be, because that's exactly what happens in the wet. You just get hung out to dry on a much wetter part of the track. There's no grip there, and to be fair, I went in way too deep. Now we're battling away with Ricardo, who sees an opportunity, but thankfully enough, we have the traction to outdrive him on the exit of the Snell section. Lap 2 now, and we fly past Hamilton in the slipstream. It's ridiculous how fast you can be when you're in the slipstream of another car on this game, but I will say I'm running with 3 laps less fuel than some of my competitors around me, and I was using rich revs, so I don't know if Hamilton was exactly doing the same. A mistake there at the final corner once again, just going in too deep, underestimating how little grip we have at the moment, and this might give Hamilton the advantage heading into turn 1. Doesn't take it. Didn't have the straight line speed to really get alongside me there. Romain Grosjean is out of the Grand Prix, a very early end to his race, and once again it is another engine failure. This is the Ricardo versus Vettel battle for position 3 in this race, and this allows myself and Lewis to just edge away ever so slightly while those guys are battling. So I welcome those guys battling as much as they like all day, because we're just romping away with this race at the moment. Lap 4, purple on the previous lap. We actually didn't run wide at the final corner, which definitely helps.
At least 20 minutes of light rain.
So again, confirming with the engineer that rain is here to stay in this Chinese Grand Prix, and I actually welcome the rain to stay as long as it likes, because at the moment it looks like we're even faster in these conditions. I even have an advantage over my teammate Lewis, even though I continue to make mistakes in this Grand Prix. It seems like I'm just pushing too hard. I'm just trying to overdrive the car just a little bit too much and just trying to build that gap, and I just keep making these small mistakes. But when I get it right, I seem to be about 3-4 tenths faster than my teammate, which is absolutely mental. We have ran with additional aero just to make us more competitive in these conditions, but again, trying to push too hard. I keep making these small mistakes, which kind of undoes the laps of really good pace that we've been setting, which is a bit unfortunate. Lap 11, tyres are coming to the end of their life now. We're just trying to stretch it to lap 14.
That's Lewis behind. The gap to the car behind is 4.6 seconds. They're on old inters. We think they've got one more stop. The time last lap was a 1:50.7.
Okay, so Lewis is in the high 50s, and the gap is about 4 or 5 seconds at this stage. So I think we're pretty safe in terms of maintaining the lead after the pit stops. Even if we had a bad in or out lap, I think we should be fine versus Lewis. I was just making sure that I got the tyres to the halfway point in the race so that just in case the rain does stay for the entirety, we can make it to the end on one stop. And I think this should be a fairly simple race for us to the end here, as Lewis has to do the overcut.
Oh no, no!
Lewis doesn't sound very happy on the radio. That's why he's out of the Grand Prix. Let's have a look why he's out. There's no one around him. He wasn't taken out. So it has to be an engine failure of some sorts. And there it is. Toto is not happy. I'm not happy either, because that's going to cost us in the constructors.
Caution, the safety car is out. Keep an eye on the delta. We need to keep it positive to avoid a penalty. Slow down, maintain positive delta.
You are kidding me. We were effectively leading 1-2 in this Chinese Grand Prix. We were going to get massive points over Ferrari and Red Bull. Verstappen might actually rejoin in front of me here because he's pitted under safety car. No, it's fine. Okay, we do have the lead for now, but yeah, I can't believe that. Like, the goal of this season is to win the constructors. We finally, after so many races of driving with the Mercedes, have a golden run where we get 1-2 in qualifying, undoubtedly going to be 1-2 in the race, and then Codemasters throws us this curveball and says, no, we're not going to hand you this constructors on a platter. We're going to make you work for it this season, pal. But I can't believe it.
This rain could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future.
I undoubtedly have to win the race now. There's no other way around this. Because Red Bull and Ferrari are right behind me. They're going to gain points on us in the constructors. There's just a massive amount of pressure to on my shoulders to fly the flag for Mercedes, but here we go. At least there's some comfort in knowing that I have the pace to run away with this one, hopefully. We've got brand new tyres on now. They haven't really done any flying laps since we came in after the safety car, or after the pit stop, sorry. So now will be a reset now. Everyone's got pretty much the same tyres. It's just a 10-lap sprint to the end on intermediate conditions. Away we go now, and the engineer was telling me about Sebastian Vettel having a problem. He's going a little bit slowly heading into the final corner. He actually got hit up the arse by a Force India. He's got a left rear puncture. I'm guessing he had that before he got hit by the Force India, but we carry on now to lap 19. We just got to build out the lead. We've got to get it out to about 4 or 5 seconds, get it to a stage where we're comfortable, and then in the final 5 or so laps, just conserve and see how we go. But this is the Red Bulls fighting over second place, fighting over supremacy as to who can be the first team driver in this season and lead Red Bull to glory once again. But I welcome that battling so much, because it's just holding them both up quite considerably. It allows us to build up the lead to a few seconds now, and it's getting to the stage where we can just cruise a little bit. We are pushing very hard at the moment still as we head on to the final lap. The Red Bulls, as you can see on the frame, are absolutely nowhere. Their early battling allowed me to break out of the slipstream. I had the pace anyway, but Ricardo looks like he's ditched Verstappen, who has actually gone for a 2-stop. believe it or not. But yeah, we had the pace all weekend, especially in the race and the intermediate conditions. It has really come good for us here in this Chinese Grand Prix. We greet the checkered flag, first race win of the season.
Yes, you've done it. Well done.
How good is that, by the way? Getting a race win at the Chinese Grand Prix, a track where you guys know my history. I do not like this track, and traditionally I don't really like the rain, so this comes as a pretty big surprise, especially given that I haven't jumped on this game in about a week. I think the wheel that I have right now that was signed by Vettel and Kimi gave me some awesome luck, but I'll take that. It was quite refreshing to have one of those Grand Prix where everything kind of went our way, even though our teammate was taken out of second place halfway through, but we still lead the constructors, so that's all we can ask for at the moment. We might have lost a little bit of our lead, but in saying that, we still look fairly healthy in both the drivers and also the constructors championships now into P2, and with some upgrades, only a few races away now, I think we might be just about at the same level as Red Bull very soon.
Look, I'm good at my job, but there's not much I can do if you're not holding up your end of the bargain. They need to see better results, and soon. Understand?
I just won the freaking race, lady. Are you serious? She's been on my case all season because I haven't been matching Lewis in terms of qualifying pace, and you know, I got third in the last race. Lewis beat me that race too, but come on. I've just won. And now you're giving me threats of kicking me from the team. The position within the team, that whole system is a little bit too reliant on fastest laps and qualifying, but we will gloss over that. We need to perform in the next race, despite winning this one and putting ourselves in position 2 in the drivers. That is very harsh, but we got to perform, otherwise we might get kicked from Mercedes, and that would really turn our season on its head. But I'm going to leave it here, guys. That's been the Chinese Grand Prix. Make sure you smash a like button on this one if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more F1 game videos. I believe the next race is Russia, and I tend to do well there as well, so I need to have a really good round, get my driver position back in the green, because Mercedes, they have ridiculously high standards. So if we don't meet those, our partnership with Mercedes could be kaput very, very soon. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys for a brand new video very soon. I want to be uploading more career mode videos more often, so look forward to that.